Hello students, it's Mr. Jepson from School in the Park. In this video I'm going to show you how to log in or sign up for Scratch. Scratch is an online game creation tool. You can basically code your own games online. You just have to sign up and then you can use block-based coding to create games. So I highly recommend before you make your game that you log into Scratch, sign up for an account, and then learn a little bit about how Scratch works. There's some tutorials built in. Get a feel for it, and then design your game and offline. Design your game on paper. So you're going to write your story, you're going to write your rules, and you're going to write your goal for your players. So try to keep it as simple as possible. The more complicated you make your game, the harder it is to code. So I also recommend exploring some of the other games on Scratch to get an idea for it. And remember, you're not just making a random video game, you're making a game inspired by this year's selection. So you want to take your inspiration from the book. Okay? So let's take a look at scratch.mit.edu. That's the link. Here's the full link if you need it. I will put that onto the website so you can just click on the link on the website. Otherwise, try going to Google and try searching for Scratch. I would try Scratch Games. Okay, it's going to be one of the first ones to pop up, the top search result. And that's going to show you all the different games that are available. There's also music and just stories, tutorials, art, animations. There's lots of different things you can explore, but I want you to take a look at the games and you might see some familiar things there. There's a Minecraft thing. There might be some familiar characters, but again, you're going to create your own video game with your own ideas. So once you've explored some of the games, come back up here to join Scratch, and I recommend you create a username that is it's not your actual name. Don't use your actual name. Use a kind of what we call a handle. Something that you like maybe like a TV show, like SpongeBob or whatever. Create your own handle that's not using your real name. We don't want people to be able to find you online. And once you've created your username, go down here and create a password. Create a name. I'm going to call myself Boss Monster after my dog, and I'm going to create a password, and then I'm going to type the password in again, and I'm going to go to the next. So here it's asking for my email. You might need to, the reason it asks for your email is for verification. So if you put in your Sandy email, if you put in your school email, it might send you a verification code. So you would have to open your email. The problem is that you don't have an email inbox. So I think what you would want to do here is ask your parent or your caregiver if you can use their email. You're allowed to use Scratch as a child. You can actually use this tool, but it's asking for an email. So if you have your own email, go ahead and just use that if you have access to it. If you don't have an email other than your school account, ask a parent or caregiver. Or alternatively, you could ask your teacher, but I think it's only going to let you register one email. So just be mindful. If you get to this point and you can't proceed, just let your teacher know, and they'll tell me and we'll talk through it. So for me, I'm going to add my Sandy email. Should be fine because I have access to that email. And it says, "Welcome to Scratch Boss Monster 911. You're now logged in. You can start exploring and creating projects." Okay, great. I'm going to get started. So like I said, I want you guys to go ahead and explore some of the projects that are here, get an idea of what's possible on Scratch. Pretty much anything is possible. But for the most part, I want you to just explore video games and then see if you can find the tutorials. So here is how you create, here's how you explore. Click on here, Again, here's games, lots of different games. There's also studios, so different gamer studios that different users that have created lots of different kinds of games. And ideas is here. This is kind of an activity guide. Um, what do you want to make in Scratch? For each activity, you can try the tutorial. So if you go through these, it's going to teach you a little bit about how to make things in Scratch. This one here is like how to make a game. This one's here is how to make a story. This one is how to make music. So those are the different kinds of things you can do. There's lots of them, so just have fun exploring all these tutorials and learn as much as you can before you start to try and code and create your own game, because there is kind of a learning curve here. There's some challenges along the way. So you want to develop your skill first. And remember, when you're making your game, you want to keep it as simple as possible. When you're ready to create your game, go over here to create. And it's going to load this platform. And what this is basically over here you can see your game elements. So it's going to give you this generic little avatar. And over here you have your coding blocks, you have your costumes for your avatars, so you can change it and make it look different. You can make it look like he's smiling or he's not smiling in the next scene, or he's walking. You have sound effects for your game, which is pretty cool. So those are the main different categories for how to piece together your game. And for coding, it's just like something you might be familiar with. Scratch is pretty common now. Even if you've used block-based coding that's not Scratch, it's probably based on Scratch, so you're probably really familiar with it. And just so I understand, these code blocks, they're basically text-based coding kind of put into a little block. So rather than typing out the text to program your robot or your game elements, they've just put all that code into this box to make it really easier. Into this box, sorry, I should say, to make it easier for you. So all you have to do is change the variable. So if you want your avatar to move 10 steps, it can do that. So I won't get too far into it because I think you're going to learn from the tutorials, but you basically just drag them over, snap them together, and then change the variable for however you want to do it. And there's a few different ways you can make a game like a character move. You can use, for example, the mouse pointer. So if you're using a mouse on your computer, or you can use, you can have it assigned to like letters, and that's traditionally the A, W, D, and S letters on your keyboard. W would be up, A would be left, D would be right, and S would be down. So you can basically assign any of the keys on your keyboard to do an action. So if you're controlling your avatar, you can have it do different things. Sometimes use a space bar to like jump or something like that. You just have to program that in using these blocks. So again, I'll let you watch the tutorials to figure that out. And I know this is really advanced. I just wanted to give you guys this option in case someone was familiar with Scratch. I know some of the robotics students would use Scratch. You might have used it even in second grade. So here it is if you want to try and play with it. If you get to the point where it's really difficult and you're really struggling, I would recommend just trying one of the other activities. Maybe just make some artwork or make your book rather than trying to make a game. But like I said, I wanted to give you guys the option just because it's pretty cool. And games really do tell stories, and you do learn while playing games. So it kind of goes with the book and the comic book. That's why I put those three together. That's it for Scratch for now. If you do get stuck, let your teacher know what happened, and so I can get that feedback, so I can maybe make a better tutorial in the future, and try and figure out how many people wanted to make games, and see if this is something that other students want to learn, so we can help them in the future too. Well, if you do make a game, have lots of fun. I think it's really cool, and it's a good career path too. Games make a lot of money these days. It's a hard job. It's really competitive, but pretty cool stuff.